Welcome everyone to your Sunday evening yin class. Nobody's new, everybody's been before, so we pretty much know what we're up to. This evening, I chose postures that are really going to help us sleep. You may not have had disrupted sleep last night as the clocks turned, but tonight might be a different story. Anyway, so this will just put you in the right frame of mind to get a good night's sleep. So if you're on the floor now, that's fine. We'll just do our opening meditation lying down. You can have your feet flat on the floor, knees to the air, or you can have your legs long, whatever feels best for you, covered up or open. Just allow yourselves here to completely relax. Just let go and breathe in and out through your nose. Taking a little bit of time here to sort yourself out and forget about the day. And just consciously think of your inner landscape now. How is your body feeling? And unlike sleep, where we may lie flat, we're not necessarily focusing on anything specific. For our yin, we really want to focus on our breath, number one, and number two, on sensations that arise while we go through our postures. So we take the time at the beginning of the class just to detune and make sure we're in the right frame of mind to proceed. So as you're here, you may notice sounds around you. Just acknowledge them. Don't try to change them. They're part of your surroundings. Notice the air on your skin. And notice the sensation of your clothing against your body. We go all through our day, not really noticing unless we've got a very picky jumper on or something that's too tight. Now here, just noticing the contact between material and flesh. Your eyes may be lowered or closed at this point. But keeping the focus on your breath will keep you in the moment you're currently in. Now, just assessing the body, doing a body scan from tip to toe. Noticing if there's any sore spots, tight spots, anything that you might want to give a little bit of extra love to. So stay committed to your breath. And stay committed to the present moment. Now we're ready to move into our first posture. It will still be laying down on the back, but we're going to go into a supported fish with butterfly legs. So if you have a bolster, put it lengthwise on your mat. And you may want to have blocks for your knees. You would have the bolster coming just below into the very base of the rib cage, but not into the end of the spine here. Just lying back, head on the bolster, supporting the legs with the blocks. If you don't have a bolster, you can use blocks. You'd want one either on low and the other one in a T, And this would go in between the shoulder blades. So if you have it behind you, making sure it's in the shoulder blades, and then the other block is supporting the skull. You may want that up a notch onto medium. Find your place that makes sense to you. Then the heels together with enough space in between the heels and the groin that you feel comfortable. You can support the knees then if you need to. And away you go. This will be a very relaxing posture, opening up the body here. Opening up the chest. Making your neutral spine nice and strong. Opening up the inner thighs and the outer hips. Then you can experiment with the arms. They can go wide into cactus. You may want to try them over your head for a while. If they get tired there, you start to feel pins and needles, then you can bring them down closer towards the side of the body. Again, focusing on your breath here. Getting nice, big, full inhales using all of your lungs. And a complete exhale, emptying out the stale air, moving away blocked energy and anything you don't need. So the supports along the spine should feel comfortable. Just making sure everybody looks good. Yes, beautiful. So some of the postures we will do will be relaxing specifically. And some other postures will be releasing energy or tension so that you can relax. Focus your breath to the place you're feeling it the most. Bringing that awareness deep within the body. And letting the tension that we put on the body in the posture help to release congestion and trapped energy, emotions that we no longer need. And while you're here, just notice if the sensations change over the duration of the posture. As you're noticing your body, See if there's any places that you might be able to let go just a little bit more. Might be your hips or your inner thighs. Maybe it is your chest. Explore. And just a few more breaths on this particular pose. If you have arms up over the head or out to the side, you can slowly start to drag them back down by your torso. Moving slowly as we come out of a pose. If you need hands on the outside of the hips to help you lift the knees to the ceiling and bring your feet flat to the floor, use the assistance. And then if you roll just enough to one side that you can move your props away from underneath you, do so. And then roll back onto your back. So you lay flat to the floor and just allow your previous posture there to reverberate through your entire being. Notice how your chest feels, your inner thighs, outer hips, maybe even ankles and soles of your feet. Focusing on the target areas of the previous posture. And now that we've had a few deep breaths here and a couple of moments, that posture pretty much will start to leave the body. And we can move on to the next one, which will be a nice little twist. You may want a propper or something, a block or your bolster on the left-hand side of your body. Lying flat to the floor, bending the knees. Push the feet into the floor and just shift your hips over to the right a couple of inches here. This just helps the twist in your spine. And then it'll be a double knee twist over towards the left. And if you need anything to support the legs or in between the legs, just use whatever you need to make yourself comfortable there. Or if you've got the space and you'd like this, take your top leg long in your twist. I'm getting you a little bit deeper into the hip and the hamstring. Keeping your right shoulder onto the floor, eyes shift over towards the left side. We'll start the twist in the spine here to release energy. Also helping to calm down your central nervous system here. Keeping you well set up in this beautiful, slowed down mode. Fantastic, countering to what often can be a busy life. Again, you can experiment with your right arm. It can be horizontal from your shoulder, or you can take it up over top of the head, anywhere it feels okay, increasing the sensation on the right side of the body. Just use your breath as a barometer. If it's become labored or choppy, you know you've gone too far, and you can always back out of the posture. If when you have the arm overhead, you get pins and needles, just bring it back by your side. Enjoy the stretch to the outer hip, through the rib cage and the front of the chest. Allow yourself to soften here. Really relax all the muscles. Think of your inner thighs being soft, your face and jaw, your feet. Super good at boosting immunity, these twists. Focus back on the rhythm of your own breathing. Let the posture unfold. If you've got the right arm up above the head, start to slowly draw it back down beside the torso, shifting your gaze back to the center line and slowly starting to lift the right leg up. Either bent, or you can bring both legs up. Feet flat to the floor. Just rest on your spine for a moment here, maybe with the knees still flat or the feet flat. And then we'll twist over to the other side before we go for the full extension. So take the knees over, either double with something in between the knees or underneath the knees. Oh, sorry, let's just shift the hips a little bit over to the left. That always feels a little bit better, I think, if you can get it over there, because then when you twist, your spine is much more in a straight line. There you go. And then if you want, you can take that top leg over. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on this twist to this side as it was on the other side. Don't forget your body is not very symmetrical. So it stands to reason that maybe the twist isn't going to be necessarily the same. Go where it feels good, not where you feel tortured. Shift your gaze either towards the left, straight up, or over the same direction as your left toes. And then you can play around with your left arm, taking it to wherever it brings you more sensation. If you ever want to change the variation of the legs while you're over there, or if suddenly you don't really need a prop to hold yourself up, by all means, change your orientation. Trying to strive for as much stillness as you can. The more still we are on the outside, the easier it is to listen and feel what's going on the inside. So as we cultivate our attention, we become more observant and that much more tuned in to the exact moment here in time. Developing our mindfulness, fabulous skill to take off the mat. Our twists releasing energy out of the spinal column, our biggest information network in the body. Releasing stress and tension. Well, if you've got the left arm up over top of the head, you can start to bring it back down beside the torso, shifting your gaze up to the center line. If your left leg is long, stack your knees and ankles. As you inhale, bring the feet flat to the floor and the knees back up towards the ceiling, rolling all the way onto your back. And just take a moment here. Maybe feet flat to the floor. Perhaps you just want to go straight to long legs. Wherever it is, find stillness here. And just relish in the release of the twist. Maybe you can feel the prana, the energy, the circulation moving around you now. Taking a few more breaths to neutralize. Whenever you're ready, you can bend your knees and roll over to one side or the other, doesn't matter which. Pause and feel for a moment, and then you can press yourself up into a seated position. And we'll go for a forward fold now to release the spine and the whole back side of the body, our caterpillar pose. You may want your bolster on your knees if you've got really tight hamstrings, perhaps a rolled up blanket underneath the knees is a nice idea for you. You can have that, just making it, or you can use your arms, starting with a little bend in the legs. Wherever you are, what I want you to think about is the spine straight first, the chin to the chest, and then over you roll into your forward fold here. So just using props, whatever you need to hold the head up. Like I say, you can have the bolster there if that's not high enough. Bring something else. So you want a little bit of a tugging sensation at the lower back, maybe into the backs of the legs. And a nice compression to the abdomen. That's what we're after here. Palms up towards the ceiling, no pulling, no pushing. Just allowing yourself to fold forward. Soften everything. Your feet, no pointing, no flexing. Think about the backs of the legs being soft. Breathe into your lower back. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Big full inhales, complete exhale. Relax all of your muscles. And as you're at your edge, you spend some time here, if the body is willing and open, feel free to take yourself a little bit deeper. Such a nice thing to feel the contrast here as we relax and stay in a posture compared to our yang postures in yoga where we're really
turned on all our muscle power to hold ourselves into position. The two different, achieving different things completely. Here, of course, we're enhancing our connective tissues as well as allowing the energy to flow freely. Stay smooth and easy here. Another half a minute or so to go. Taking your time, keeping your head down till the end. Palms now to the floor. Slowly start winding yourself up from your lower spine, one vertebrae at a time, stacking one on top of the other until the shoulders come on top of the hips. And then the ears come on top of the shoulders. Relax your shoulders down. Just let the posture leave the body. Maybe keeping the eyes closed. Notice how you feel physically. Energetically. And maybe even emotionally here. Like you need a little movement now to move things around. Feel free to take the hands behind the hips, lift the chest up. Maybe even windscreen wiper the feet or the legs with the feet flat, back and forwards a couple of times. We're going to go for a releasing posture of the hips with our wide leg child's pose. So just coming on to hips to heels, forehead and nose towards the floor. Again, find what suits you. You could be totally supported if you don't feel like going for it here. You know, the bolster in between, supported child's pose. Head to one side and to the other. I'll tell you when we're halfway. Or forehead and nose to the floor. And if you have the hips hanging high into the air, feel free to put a block underneath the hips. And if the floor is too far away, feel free to put a block or a cushion, something a little softer underneath the head. Toes together, knees apart, so we get into the inner groin here. Just allow yourself to completely relax. Yes, lovely. Just give up all musculature, here, muscle engagement. Focusing on the targeting areas here, the lower back, all along your spine, inner thighs and outer hips. Arm position is up to you. Your arms can be forward, straight ahead, a little bit out to the side. You can wrap them around the body if you want to change at any point. You can even have the hands on the back of the lower spine. One palm, one hand on top of the other. Bound child's pose. Or another one, if you wanted to, is to take the arms between your legs. That one I find is nice if you twist your head. Relax your shoulders and your jaw. Let your hips be nice and heavy here.
And if your head is one way or the other, one direction, you may want to now change it to the other side as we're halfway. Last minute. From here, you can start to bring your hands underneath your shoulders, wherever you are. And to come out, just let yourself slide all the way forward onto your belly. If you've got a prop in the way, just move it to the side. And just allow yourself a moment here, belly down, Shavasana. Thinking of the release now in the hips, the lower back, and how that feels for you. It's not too much to really that releases out of that as it is itself a release, but it's just nice to take that moment. If you feel like you need to rock your hips from side to side or move your head, by all means do so. And we'll get set for our next posture, which is going to intensify the inner thigh sensation here for a release. And that's going to be frog. I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm up to. So this one, you may want props in front of you. We're going to be in like a wide leg child's pose here for a moment, but stepping it wider. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. The knees come apart a little bit more. And the feet either turned out or straight back. Keeping the ankles in line with the knees. And then allowing yourself to come towards the floor. Keeping the hips back. So it's a mild back bend, but it's for the inner thigh. So just go until you feel something happening there. You may want a bolster for your elbows or blocks. It's not necessarily everybody's favorite posture, but I tell you, it's great for releasing the hips, giving you greater range of motion, more flexibility. I have seen people get their hips to the floor very close, but you go to where you feel something happening. Not too much, not too little. And there you are, froggy. So there is a little bit of upper body muscle engagement here as you're holding yourself up. But really focus on the hips and releasing and becoming soft there as much as you can. Every breath you take, exhale away the junk. We tend to hold quite a bit of tension in the hips. This can help you get it out.
And don't be surprised if you get a little grumpy here, or the sensation of feeling frustrated or aggy. As we're working on the inner thighs, we're releasing into the liver. And that's the place that the body tends to hold that emotion of anger or frustration, grumpiness. As we're stimulating there, that might come to the forefront, but just let it go. This is all the release so that when it comes time for sleep, the stuff is all gone. And we can get right into the matter at hand, which is letting the body have a rest. Relax your head and shoulders as much as you can, and your face. Releasing into the inner thighs, outer hips, and through your spine. We won't hold here forever. Maybe another half a minute or so, we'll start to get out of this. It's a little more intense and just a wide legs jog pose, so we won't stay here forever. Taking your time, bringing the hands a little bit more under the shoulders so you can lift the upper body up. We may want to step those knees in one little step at a time here as opposed to sliding them. Oh yeah. You might feel like you're 1,000 years old here. Don't worry, you're not. It's only having that posture under that stress, and just roll to one hip or the other for your release. Yeah, I can see you all moving around. That's great. With your hands behind you, you may just want to dump the legs to the other side. Just taking a couple of these tight windscreen wipers as opposed to open, it might feel better. Good work. Frogs do the trick. They let it all go. Excellent. A little treat for decompressing the spine. We're going to bring it up to a standing here for a little dangle. Just a couple of minutes here, and we'll bring her back down to the floor. So keeping the knees soft, feet hip width apart. Just allowing yourself to fold over here. So the options are elbows onto the knees, bellies in, or you can let yourself hang right over, either putting your hands onto blocks or grabbing your opposite elbows each other. Please just make sure your knees are soft, the belly's onto the thighs. This is all about thinking of yourself being super fluid here through the spine, letting the weight of the head lengthen you towards the floor. Relax your shoulders and your head. For some, that might be too intense. Like I say, bring it back up with your elbows onto the thighs, giving yourself a little bit more support. And trying to round the spine as much as possible. If that normal dangle is not enough sensation for you, you can take the hands and grab your elbows behind the knees. The straighter the legs are, the more you get into your hamstrings. This really, we want to focus much more on the spine. It's very good for your bladder and all the water works. Again, with that compression in the abdominal area. Really great for your digestion. And often what keeps us awake at night is our bellies, our second brain, or in some cases, our bigger brain. If our digestion isn't working, sometimes a bellyache will keep us up, or gas, or we've eaten something funny, or not the right stuff, or too late, or too much. So this will help to move along digestion and elimination. One more minute to go. Relax your jaw. Just feel like your feet are firmly and very evenly planted into the floor. Notice the quality of your breath. Breathe into your upper back between the shoulder blades. Slowly bending the legs even more, hands onto the floor. Letting your knees come down, you're onto all fours. And then you can just take yourself to lie down on your back here for recovery. And release. Taking a moment here. And that was such a good reverse. It's like an inversion without having to worry about balancing on your arms. We reversed the blood flow in the body. Brought lots of new energized blood to the head. Notice how you feel energetically now. If you can feel that tingle and buzz, that glow of increased circulation go through the body. Our last posture will be a Bananasana to both sides. So when you're ready, just bringing your hips to the far right side of your mat. And keeping the hips down and the shoulder blades, walk the heels over to the bottom left-hand corner of the mat and the shoulders over to the top left-hand corner of the mat until you get that C curve into the body on the right-hand side of the body. And then you can take the arms over top of the head, either grabbing the right wrist with the left hand or your opposite elbows each other. Allow your head to relax towards the left shoulder. And if that feels okay with the legs, stay there. If you want a little bit more sensation to the outer hip, you can experiment with the legs. In fact, you can take the outside and hook it over the inside ankle or the other way. In fact, you can mess around with that through the posture while we're here. We'll be here for the next 3 minutes or so. And everybody will feel that differently, so I can't tell you which way is more outside over in or inside over out. But you should have, as I say, heels, hips, and shoulders onto the floor. Either your left ear to the left shoulder or looking up towards the ceiling, looking towards the right side, whatever feels better. The longer the lever, if the arms are long, you'll get more sensation to the sideline of the body. So this again is a nice release to the spine. Also to the sidelines of the body, working the heart, the lungs, the gallbladder. Releasing organs that we wouldn't even really think of as being part of our sleep problem or pattern. But when the organs are happy, the body releases and relaxes, and sleep comes more readily.
And as we're learning to still the mind here in our poses, staying very focused on what we're doing at the moment and not wandering off anywhere. When we have the mind focused and relaxed, again, sleep becomes that much easier. So again, not so much pulling here, just relaxing into the posture. Letting the shape open us from the inside out. And just a few more breaths in this posture, staying nice and soft, not tensing up to move. You can unhook the ankles if they're one over top of the other. Relax the arms. Start to bring the arms down by the body, again, shifting your gaze to the ceiling. Slowly walking the shoulders back over towards the right and the legs over towards the right. But just let yourself go, heels in, toes out, palms up. You just notice how the left-hand side of the body's feeling. Compared to the right. Giving yourself a little wiggle if that's what you need to do. And then you can inch your hips over towards the left-hand side of the mat. Walk your shoulders over towards the top right-hand corner and your heels over to the bottom right-hand corner of the mat. Feeling that stretch down the left-hand side of the body. Arms over top of the head, either grabbing your elbows each other or the left wrist with the right hand. And you can go ahead and cross the ankles, keeping the heels, the ankles, and the shoulder blades onto the floor. Enjoy your C-curve spine here, your banana shape. And relax your head whichever way feels best. Relax your glutes, your inner thighs, your shoulder blades to the floor. Let the face be soft. Just allow the body to marinate in this shape here. You're like a little pipe cleaner, having a nice bend. Relax your feet and your ankles. And feel free if you wanted to try changing over your ankles the other way to find out which way feels best. As always, if the body allows you to open, you can always walk the shoulders over more, the heels out further. Less than a minute to go. Just savor the sensation of this posture in your body. Acknowledging the opening it's making for your spine between the vertebrae. The stretch it's giving you to the outside of your hip and along the sideline of your body. You can release the ankle crossover if you have it done. Release the wrists. Allow the arms to come back down by your side. And shifting your body back into a straight line. Legs in, shoulders in, all a nice straight line. And just hold still as you release. Couple of breaths to neutralize. And then maybe the body's craving a bit of movement. You can go ahead. You can either bend the knees up, windscreen wipe, or just rock from hip to hip. Maybe you want to bring the knees into the chest. Whatever feels good. Have a little movement and then find yourself back into Shavasana. On your back, onto the floor. Here's a chance now to let all of the postures fuel you with their benefits. So if you want to bolster underneath the knees, that's often very nice. Go ahead. If you need a little pillow underneath your head, find that available for you. Put on some warm stuff. And now just reap the benefits of your practice. Let everything absorb. Let all the energy flow from tip to toe. And completely relax your bones into the floor. Let your muscles relax. Now that we've worked out any kinks and knots, we're in a perfect place to really get in and appreciate the relaxation for our body we've created. Compare the quality of how your body feels right now to how it did at the beginning when you were lying in Shavasana. Noticing the sense of lightness, of balance, of peacefulness. This was all inside. Through our postures, we've just brought it to the surface. So just know that this is always here for you. And through cultivating your practice, you may even, just by controlling the breath, keeping it long and slow and steady, be able to find that sensation of the rebound after a posture of stillness. It's a beautiful skill to help us manage
our chaotic times. You can let your breath go now and let it do as it pleases. Relaxing each and every single joint in the body. Relaxing your jaw. Letting your tongue hang in your mouth. Releasing the muscles in your eye sockets so that the eyeballs can just float. Relax the back of your eyelids, your forehead, your cheeks, and your chin. See now if you can make your next exhale a little bit deeper so you can take a bigger, more energizing inhale on the next breath. Continue this and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle the ankles and the wrists, bringing a bit more circulation to the extremities. Take a nice big inhale, arms over top of the head. Stretch your fingertips and your toes as far away from each other as is possible. Nice big inhale, activating the spine, and exhale. Let it all go. Arms coming back down by your side. Hug your knees into your chest one at a time. Give yourself a nice, happy hug here. You can rock the hips from side to side and bringing some balance back to the pelvis. Maybe even circle the knees on the ceiling 3 times one direction and 3 times the other way to get that final little massage on the lower back. And when you're done, roll to the left-hand side of your body, bending your left arm to make a pillow for your head. Just a couple of breaths here in fetal position as you settle. And pressing the right hand into the floor, slowly allowing yourself to spiral up into a seated position, facing forward. Maybe your eyes are still closed or lowered. Finding a cross-legged seat or however else you feel comfortable. With a straight spine and a soft belly and collarbones lifted. We'll just take a moment here, bringing the hands to the center of the chest. Giving a gesture of gratitude to the body, bowing the head towards the fingertips. Saying thanks to the body for all it does for us day in, day out. And our body thanking us for giving it the gift of yin. Thank you, Yin Stirrers, for joining me on this Sunday, our first dark night. Many more to come. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Our session is complete.